This episode brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever find yourself playing the budgeting game? Shifting a little money here, a little there, and hoping it all works out? Well, with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive, you can get a better budgeter and potentially lower your insurance bill too. You tell Progressive what you want to pay for car insurance, and they'll help find you options within your budget. Try it today at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law. Not available in all states.
This is 99X. It's Barnes and Leslie. Crash Clark is here in traffic. Some cool technology. Well, often cool technology is coming out of Atlanta. One I would like to introduce you to. I'm a little skeptical. I'll explain, but we'll get into it. You're going to meet someone next that's got a pretty cool thing. If it works out on paper the way I read it, I'm all in. I think you might dig it. He's next.
Well, you're talking about cool technology, Barnes. We went from a card to an actual app. I'm talking about the 99X Freeloader app, and I'm looking through it now. You know, the soundboard is on there where you can find out all the upcoming concerts. You need to know about it. Brought to you by John Foy and Associates, Personal Injury. Get the strong arm, the 99X Freeloader app.
So I read all kinds of stuff about tech daily. I mean, I just can't get enough, and I like to be really ahead of the game. And there's a few apps in the past years that would always pull me in. And I was so interested in it. And it was these ones with like fractional airfare. You know, like you're going to go, like you can ride on you take the private jet for like teeny amount of money. Crash, you seen these before?
I have, yeah. It reminds me of Sweet Deals.
It's right. $29.95. You can fly from Atlanta to Japan. No, but they would always have these weird, like you had to fly from like the middle of a farm in Cumming and you could only go to Fort Lauderdale. Or, you know, it was just really, once you got into it. Okay, now, with an open mind, I'd like to introduce you to Edward Salyers. He is a CTO of an Uber-inspired tech company that's disrupting the private air travel industry by connecting users with charter flights right through an app.
Oh.
Sounds very familiar. I can't wait to understand how they're different. Good morning, Edward. How are you?
Good morning. I'm doing great. How about yourself?
Good. Thanks for coming on. AIRNEX is the name of the company. What makes you guys different than the ones you heard me describe?
Absolutely, yeah. So we are set apart for a few different reasons. First off, obviously we're not the first to attempt to try this, like you were saying. You've heard of this before. What we're doing that is different is the other competitors in the market are doing a few things. So one, they're either listing their own aircraft, so they're limited by the fleet that they hold. Mm-hmm. Basically, whatever they have access to, what they own, is what they advertise, therefore limiting their market. We also are not doing a subscription fee, which is a big one that both for the customers and for the operators. That's very common. So these guys will these operators will be, charging customers for subscription and also limiting them to the hours that they can actually fly. We're not doing any of that. Essentially, all we are doing is being the middleman connecting these. They're actually called Part 135 operators, and they already do the business like normal. They already fly privately. It's just they're not really advertising for themselves.
So AIRNEX will be an aggregator of all of these other charter situations, all brought into one app?
We are the advertising or broker agency, if you will, between these guys. So all legality and, making sure that the law is maintained and everything still falls on the Part 135 charters. Okay. We're just simply saying, hey, here's a guy who wants to fly more. You're wanting to fly. We connect you to him.
This is so interesting, Barnes. So instead of ride sharing, it's ride hailing. So let's say, for instance, I want to go to a concert this weekend in another town, like let's say Charlotte or Savannah or whatever. How far in advance do I need to book this in order to actually get a flight? Do I have to know like weeks in advance, or can I do it days in advance?
So that is a great question. So the way that we have designed it right now, and talking with these 135 charters and what they're open to, essentially, if you can find one available tomorrow that's willing to take you, you'll get a flight, tomorrow, even today, if they're available. We're trying to do it to where you can do this weeks or months out by scheduling, or you can do it day of or day before.
Right now, obviously, you're talking about manned aerial aircraft. Are you ever going to get into like autonomous vehicles? Is this going to almost be like an Uber in the sky where I can just make a reservation and I go to a field and there's this autonomous vehicle that I get into?
It could.
That's a great question, and I love thinking about right. And I do myself. I'm very big into the tech world as well and aviation, and I'm very excited for that being a possibility. Right now, we're trying to keep our scope a little bit on the smaller side, but I mean, just to keep it manageable, at least out the gate. But honestly, I mean, if I could see one day that being a possibility if technology gets there in my lifetime. Yeah.
But playing on Leslie's question, we're talking to the CTO of AIRNEX. Are you guys out yet? You're not out yet, right? Or are you?
So we are not officially out yet. We right now we have our demo app that we're basically going around, and we actually have been making some deals with a few Part 135 charters already, getting them signed on, and we're also still seeking, to find more additionally, investors. So that's kind of what the stage that we're at, hoping we get a 2026 launch.
This is Edward Salyers, CTO of this company. So when you talk about aggregating all of these, so you have no control over price. What's going to stop, like when you have company A, B, C, D, when they're feeding their pricing in, and say company A is going to ask for $600 to go to LA, and company B is $900. Is there any adjusting that's going to go on in the app, or what's the benefit for the person to go to your app to find these flights?
Exactly. So that's a good question. So we anticipate that once we start getting more people on board, so, right now, say that we have this one guy on, he does kind of control how, what he wants to do his pricing at in the beginning. But as we get more, it's going to bring that competitiveness into it. And he's going to be like, oh, well, he's getting more flights at this price, so I'm going to drop mine to make it more competitive. And he'll see that essentially we're getting them more business, and we believe it'll kind of create a competitive market where they'll be dropping prices with the frequency of their flights to make it more competitive.
So it could eventually become dynamic, which would be very interesting.
Yes, sir. Exactly.
I'm so curious about the price, though. You can't give us any idea about pricing, though, can you? Because there are private flights, so obviously it's going to be more, right?
Right. So here's the thing. That is sort of the difference is, so a lot of people think flying private, through Part 135 charters means, oh, I got to go on a luxury jet or whatever, and it's going to cost me thousands. Or that's not always the case. If you want that service, yes, it will be available. You can go the private jets. However, we have a couple potential 135s that are about to sign on that have these aircraft called SR-22s, which essentially are just little four-seaters. And you could, and I mean, that's the thing. Those planes are known for being very reliable, and it can take two to three people. And it could be, I mean, we were talking, it could be from here to Tampa, you could do for a couple $100 a person, which, we skip TSA, you skip the long waits and having to go and, pay crazy parking fees at big airports and stuff to just go straight out to the ramp. And you get cleared through the 135 and you're good to go.
You just have to crop dust a few fields on the way, but otherwise you'll get there a reasonable amount of time. No, I mean, when you talk about it, I mean, call me, Barnesology, but I'm picturing the jet with the champagne and the M&Ms and the reclining leather seats.
Lifestyles of the rich and famous.
If you're going to fly private. Well, but on that point, when you fly like that in luxury, does it have to be the whole plane, or could it be 8 people all going to Tampa who want to fly, a little more upscale than climbing and forcing themselves into an SR-22? Will it be that, or do you have to get the whole plane?
No, so you, certainly what we've talked about is, we'll try and make it to where it's more accessible to do the more luxurious flights together. We actually have talked about ways that we can incorporate it where you can actually even split it with other AIRNEX customers.
That's cool.
And
yes, that is a good idea, I think.
We know a pilot for him, Barnes.
Steve from the Steve Show. Yeah. Put him on doing a little bit of work.
You just got to sit next to his golf clubs.
Right. Well, this is it. I'm all in. Edward, I mean, I dig it. I dig the idea, especially if you can get a collective group of people all going to the same place who could split it because you skip the lines, you skip the possible cancellations, all that stuff. So if you want to check it out, keep your eye on AIRNEX. And Edward, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Thanks, man. Have a great day. This is the original. Fly on. It's 99X.
Family Matters amplifies the loudest and the proudest political voices in the Black community today.
What's up, guys? I'm CJ Pearson. There's so many incredible perspectives here in the Black community that you're going to hear from each and every week.
Because faith matters, country matters, and family matters.
This is exactly what the mainstream media was missing by not actually going to Black churches, going to Black barbershops, talking to the people at the forefront of this change in the community. Let me start here.
Family Matters with CJ Pearson.
Each and every week, we'll see you here. Talk to you soon.
Follow and listen on your favorite platform.